how to buy a house with a tax lien on it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to buy a house with a tax lien on it. Don't worry about this. Okay, I'm going to show you in this video methodically how to make this all happen. But what you're also going to see is you're going to go, wow, okay, wait, there's some potential in here. I've just eliminated so many obstacles to get this deal. Okay, that's what's going to happen. By the time you get done with this, you're going to know exactly why buying a property with a lien on it is actually a profitable situation if approached correctly. Now, obviously, I love bringing out this content. I really appreciate everybody watching these videos and all the comments you get. And it helps. It helps the algorithms. It helps getting it out to the people that need to see this thing. I don't have a scarcity mentality. I'll continue putting these videos out as long as you guys say thumbs up, comment in there. More importantly, subscribe on there so that way that as this content comes out there, it's just a really quick listen. You know, I try to keep these at 10 minutes or 12 minutes or less, I should say, in that area so that you can listen to these on your commute while you're driving into the work or what have you, or whatever. Anyways, listen with the whole family and you guys will learn some things. Now, at the very end of this, I'll show you a way to maximize your profits by doing this. So stick around for that. Anytime there's an obstacle on a property that makes it unusual, then I want to figure out how I can make this happen. Because as long as you can solve the problem, you're going to make money. And I'm going to give you an example. I had dinner with one of my students last night. Jeff. Shout out, Jeff. I love this story. So he was buying I think it was 3 acres. And in that particular township, they had a rule that once you got your building built, he was building multifamily. Once the building was done, you couldn't do 500 feet beyond the back of that property. So it left all this acreage in the back that nothing could be done on. And the engineer's like, yeah, you can't do it. And he's like, this doesn't make any sense. He literally drove around looking at multifamilies and he's going, okay, well, how can they did it? How can they did it? And then the city goes, oh, what they did is they put a road. And so now that extends that 500 yards or 500 feet. And he's like, okay. So he goes back to the engineers and he says, as long as I can put this road back over here, it can be one way, it goes over here, we can extend all the way to the back. These are guys that have been doing this for 30 years, the engineers. And they went, oh, that's brilliant. So again, all Jeff did was solve the problem. I mean, here's this property been sitting there forever. And nobody, oh, you can't build, you can only go here. All he did was make that road go back there. Now he's got a multi-million-dollar project and everybody's making money on it. So when you see a house with a tax lien on it, okay, that means something else is going on. For instance, a lot of you drive around and these strategists out there in real estate say, look for that property that's a little beat up and this and that. Well, there's a little bit of truth to that, or actually a lot of truth to that. When a house isn't being taken care of, it's probably a rental property, or there might be some financial situations that aren't favorable to the property owner. I'm smiling because I was just thinking about, like, any of you have kids of driving age. So I have a son that's of driving age, and I have a really nice truck that we go camping in, and my nephews and my son wanted to go camping, and it gets back and I'm like, they said, hey, it's making a really odd smell. I said, hey, did you go through any water puddles, something on the exhaust? And I go, did you run over a bag of potato chips? And they looked at me and they're like, they couldn't figure out why I would ask that question. I go, because I think you did, because they all got on the floor of the freaking truck and they all, oh, because it's not their car. They weren't taking care of it. I said, now take it down to the car wash and make it look exactly the way I gave it to you. So when you're out looking at houses and you're going, wow, that's a little rough on it. Well, a lot of times, not always, but sometimes renters just don't take care of a property as much as it would if it was there. So if somebody's got a tax lien on a property, there's an example of one I did in Florida where the property was a little run down, not a lot, but it was like, you looked in the neighborhood, really nice neighborhood, and this one stood out. It wasn't bad. I didn't think it was a rental, but it didn't look real good. And then as I dug into it, sure enough, not only was there a tax lien on the property, there was an IRS lien on the property. There was a fix-it fine from the county. In certain counties around the country, they have these things where somebody will drive by and, if there's something aesthetically not pleasing from the street, they'll write it up, $25 fine a day. It had up to $12,000 in that. That told me everything. Okay, something was going on with this property. Long story short, we pursued the property. We ended up getting the property for half price and made a ton of money on it. Buying a property with a tax lien certificate, okay, you can do it. Now, in that situation, I had to satisfy the property taxes on the property before the county's gonna issue me clear title on it. Now, I can work around that. You're like, what do you mean you can work around it? Kind of. Okay, I can put a contract into that property and I can say, I'm not closing for 12 months. Here's some cash up front. I could get all my rehab done on that property, then go ahead, sell it, okay, and all of the proceeds take care of the tax lien on the backside. Yes. Okay, so in other words, I'm putting a contract on that property. I'll buy your property for $200,000. Okay, I'll give you $20,000 cash here. I'm not going to close on it for, 12 months. We'll use that for an example. Doesn't take that long. I fix up the property. What happens to the value of the property when I'm fixing up? It starts to go up. I can go to my investors and go, I need some capital out of this property. This scenario was $146,000 in taxes on this property. We paid the $146,000, gave the client, the homeowners, the balance on that. We ended up with a $300,000 property for $200,000 that went up in value to $398 by the time we were done, okay? That's a perfect scenario of how you buy a property with property tax liens on it, okay? So what I'm doing is kind of shorting the system. The hard part is getting a hold of the property owner so that we have, some kind of rapport on that. And again, there's an art to that. I have other videos on it. But if you get a hold of the property owner and you can show them a way where you're going to be able to solve their problem, I think you're going to be able to make a lot of money. I know you are. I have some of my students, this is all they do. They say, if I can just get 5 or 6 deals a year, I'm set financially. I'm making several $100,000 doing this. It's a little bit of a Snoop Doggy Dog because you got to do the research. Once you do the research, you got to get them to contact you. Once you get them to contact you, you've got to negotiate a deal. And remember, all you got to do is solve their problem. They didn't know how to get out of this deal. They knew they owed all this property, even though they had this equity. And even though they could have fixed up this property, why didn't? I don't know. They were super happy that they walked away with $50,000 on this deal. I was super happy to pay the $146,000 and we made some profit on the back end. So all the way around, it works. The key is you've got to find these properties out there. If you're looking for these properties and you're waiting for the property to come up for the sale, understand everybody and their brother is trying to get a hold of this property owner beforehand because the list came out. The real art is sitting there going, okay, let's find a property that's not quite ready for sale, but I can contact the person. Now I'm going to give you a couple of nuggets here. When contacting the person, you have to be different. Handwritten letters are very powerful. An envelope that's odd shaped. Sears and Roebuck, the Sears catalog made an art of this. Their catalog was an odd shaped catalog, so you had to stack it on the top of the coffee table. It didn't, some magazines, you couldn't put the magazines, they just fall off it. So it was a marketing technique that they used. You put it on the top and therefore every magazine had to be on the bottom. So every time you looked at the coffee table, what was the first thing you saw? Was the Sears Roebuck. So if you had an odd shaped envelope, when they're getting their mail, maybe the outside is handwritten, personal, important information, don't throw away. Inside, nice handwriting. You say, hey, I'm not a big bank or whatever. I can show you a way to get out of the situation. I see you owe some taxes on this. I've helped other people in the past successfully. Those types of things. That's how you make some money on this. Now listen, I've got a brand new mini course on this that I'm going to give you for free. Okay, there's a lot of information here. We've only had a little over 10 minutes on this. So all you need to do is click the link. It's my gift to you. My gift to you if you click the link. So click the link down below or just go to Higgins, Higgins, method.com And I will give you this brand new mini course to walk you through this step by step and provide you with financial independence. This is Saen Higgins saying good luck and God bless.